like they kinda tripped themselves up banning it there.
Yeah, I was wondering what could be so important that they want to ban the Valentina,
Only
right?
love and night are
So
Yeah.
Sicilian, like you said, got that late game insurance for sure. Two heavy hitters for that late game. But plenty of damage to blow through the nether realm for sure.
And they do have the Matilda as well to save them if they do get run down, but Alter Ego just feels like a much scarier lineup, honestly. RSG has the more difficult lineup to execute on. There's some heroes that require a good amount of micromanagement, especially like with the Guinevere and the Sicilian. Hilda will create some space, yes, but Alter Ego's lineup is pretty bulky as well. I still personally lean towards AE for this game number 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially if this Gwyn doesn't get a good game, it is going to be so tough for her to have any impact the later the game goes. So we hop into game number 2. Once more Alter Ego on that blue side, RSG Singapore on the red.
Alright, let's see how this will go. Right now, Alter Ego 1 game up against their opponents from Singapore here. RSG unfortunately did not demonstrate the best fundamentals for a team participating in the Snapdragon Pro Series at this point. So now, I'm sure they're eager to prove to us that it was just a fluke and that their true potential hides somewhere deeper.
Of course, the Alpha Gabe would be slightly faster in that clear compared to Yon. We're trying to look for the Little Wanderer, and just like game 1, gonna lose most of his health right before the objective spawns. Yon should be able to get it with the retry, not a problem. Or Singapore definitely having a slightly better start, especially with this Matilda.
Yeah, having a Matilda gives you a lot more freedom in the early game to make slight mistakes, since the guiding winds and the extra shielding will always allow you to get out a little bit safer. Looking at the overall emblems, this is an Impure Rage Guinevere with the Mage emblem, so there's a possibility that Yon is trying to go for damage.
Well, speaking of damage, you get the full combo, Revitalize from Dreams, not enough. First blood for CS.
One of the longest single target CCs in the entire game, that Violet Requiem combo. The Revitalize kept Dreams alive for a pretty long time, but with 2 other members of RSG dishing out that DPS, there was no way of Dreams was getting out there. So that's going to be a pretty good start, especially since they gave the first blood gold to CS on the Irritel 2. He's already winning out that gold lane matchup against the Granger. This is going to be, like you said, a much better start for RSG Singapore.
It's not the easiest to catch as well with this Matilda, constantly giving that 5-star ride out. But first turtle will spawn. In game 1, Alter Ego got every single objective. The RSG Singapore goes from behind with gear to help him out. Gets caught by the Spell Alpha. Instantly goes down. Yon goes in, tries to look for the combo. Gets pulled back control to Oblivion. And it's just miscommunication from RSG Singapore. They did not respect AE enough.
It's not just the lack of respect for AE, it's just straight up mistakes on a fundamental level. I don't know why Gear jumped so deep into the center of their entire team, and then Yon wasn't able to get the knockout necessary. He should have gotten out.
And they're gonna lose more than just that. All to protect the purple buff that doesn't even end up being there, as Gabby takes the buff. And well, what seemed to be a better start for RSG Singapore has just spiraled out of control just like that.
A safer, more solid start is just instantly gone. That's just how quickly games can switch on a dime nowadays in MLBB. And Alter Ego now, after those 2 teamfight victories, feeling a lot more confident to try jumping in.
Once more, Yon needs to really be careful of picking his target, right? You can't jump into the Shadow Stampede, the pool is gonna disrupt your combo. Can't jump into the Law and Order. He falls behind. It's basically going to stall out the rest of his team's progress even more. And even with the Sicilian that ideally wants time, without this jungler being able to provide that impact, it is going to be tough for RSG.
I'm still not too sure if Yon intended to go tank or damage build on this Guinevere, but now I would definitely say going tank is a safer bet, considering the aggression from Alter Ego.
Oh my god, not even close. I mean,
Things are
if he
not
wants to
looking
switch
good
to
already.
tank, yeah, no. If he wants to switch to tank, he gotta do it now. And even then, it feels like a half-baked one thanks to the Mage
Oh, the
Emblem,
Shadow
so
Stampede.
doesn't solve the problem for Yon completely, and Closer goes down again. That's the full plating down bot, almost the full plating. Nino is going to proxy that wave first, and now the purple buff gone.
Yon
No
did
walk
get it
buff
this
over.
time.
The try, that's a flicker used by Nino. No more Nether Realm. They're gonna go Sanguine Claw, pull back round down, just go down. They get the pull back onto Yon. Yon, spatial migration gets out of the way. Turtle in possession by Alter Ego. Nino just slams down gear.
And Geve is still able to get the turtle after everything. Actually, still kind of a good trade for Alter Ego. Though we are definitely seeing slightly better discipline from RSG and the way they are taking that team fight right now, if they're able to capitalize on Alter Ego using resources and pushing far too early on, they definitely do have the tools needed to fight.
Yon once more forced out of his own jungle, allowing Gebe to continuously have an advantage. And this Hilda has been put out of commission very early on. Closer has not been able to perform his duties as a Hilda.
The problem is, Hilda is also a hero that got quite recently nerfed, right? There was an increase in the cooldown to that skill 2, which makes her a little less oppressive overall. And even in the past, you had a difficult time laning against super tanky sandbags like the Hylo. So Closer is not really able to contribute too much to the team fights, which makes it a big problem because he really is supposed to be RSG Singapore's early game ticket.
And that ticket basically ripped in half by AE, who is got above 4k goal advantage. Arriving at the scene earlier than RSG. Roundel shows himself first. Gebe also bot side. Yon not able to get the knockout. Good timing with the Spill Alpha, so Gear has to disengage with his ult as well. Alter Ego wants to find something bot side, but RSG Singapore at least were able to stop them. But unfortunately, the retry battle, I believe, it's going to be won by Yon, who takes his purple buff.
Yon needs anything that he can get at this point. He has been oppressed for most of the game. But I really gotta say, Geve is my... Oh, Hai's being chased down! Beautiful burst from CS.
Instantly popped. Back up from AE, late to the occasion, so RSG Singapore will be able to get away with that one without much repercussions.
They're still gonna try and contest the turtle despite all of this. So far, Geve has been really good at dodging that Violet Requiem, but this time...
Yeah, Nino not so lucky. Just 100-0 in an instant. Closer in the midst of things will be taken down by Dreams. Turtles still haven't been secured just yet. Yon barely healthy. And that is going to be a full engage from RSG Singapore, committing to the fight. And AE this time will not be so lucky. Bad impact, not taking down Dreams even with the glowing wand. RSG Singapore finding some signs of life and taking the turtle for themselves.
That teamfight victory was definitely attributed to CS overall, though. That Irritel was doing a lot of damage over time, and because Gebe had already spent his Spear of Alpha earlier in the teamfight, wasn't able to use it to actually lock down the Irritel, which meant that it took them a lot longer to take down CS than necessary, giving Yon and Yunsky more space to continuously output damage onto their opponents. Very important fight there because it instantly narrows down the goal difference. It's not much now, only about 300 in favor of Alter Ego. Looking at the itemization, yep, Yon is going for a tankier build that is brute force into Thunderbelt. And I definitely agree that being a more solid frontline is important for RSG Singapore.
Yeah. And not just that, it is essentially a 4k goal swing in the past 2 minutes. So AE, all that lead that they worked for, all that shutdown that they got, amounts to almost nothing at this point. Although Gebe is still ahead in terms of experience. So it's a silver lining as we are approaching our first Lord in under a minute.
RSG Singapore does have a pretty strong mid to late game scaling. So even if they're a little behind early on, it's actually not too big a deal. And we can see CS is hurting a lot. One hit away from taking out Roundel in the mid lane. Alter Ego actually have to be somewhat careful here. RSG is starting to reach a power spike where they can straight up 5v5 against Alter Ego.
Especially CS. Not the easiest to catch. If you are the Granger, trying to land these skill shots onto an Irithel, which is significantly faster than you with that sprint, it's going to be tough. But still, I mean, RSG, now they have to... They've taken down the tier 1s in the side lanes, see if they can take down the one in the mid lane, which is going to be the focal point for both teams. But because Alter Ego did send 2 members up top, RSG's SG will get priority of the Lord.
Alter Ego gonna come over to see if they can contest this. Geve already revealing himself. Not too sure if they should do that too early. Oh!
Going on to Yunsky. Yunsky needs to get away. Will be able to make his way to safety with the flicker. Hai is getting chased down by Closer, but unfortunately Yunsky still ends up falling. Nino will now lock gear down in place. That's the double kill for Gebe. A triple coming through, taken by Dreams this time. As CS is down, RSG have completely lost control of the objective. Alter Ego will take Lord.
I think it's very smart from Alter Ego to decide that they just up the tempo when RSG is least expecting it. And just run directly at them. In the previous fight, it took them too long because they were trying to slow things down to pick up the important cores and dodge abilities. But their lineup is actually very good at just no-brain run right into the opponent, you know? So RSG Singapore got caught off guard there. They lost Yunsky and Gear very early on. Yon could no longer continue. CS, unfortunately, I don't think had their ultimate available, which is why a lot of the DPS was missing as well.
See how much damage can Alter Ego do with this Lord. How much of that gold lead can they take back? I mean, we're looking at a almost 3,000 swing again in favor of Alter Ego, just like that. Send out the waves pretty well as well. Fat waves from every single lane, pretty much synced up. That's the macro supremacy from Alter Ego.
Alter Ego, they've been able to build up a gold lead once again, but it's still not actually that bad for RSG yet. Again, they have an Irithel, they have a Cecilia on there. Late game is going to be very, very solid. The goal now is just to try and survive as long as possible. To delay until the point where they can threaten Alter Ego with siege damage from behind.
And look at the Death Sonata shot, right? The splash damage is really hurting RSG Singapore a lot. There's no way around it. So the side lane tier 2s have been broken. All holy shields broken as well.
RSG, their base defense, not the best. They only really have Cecilia on the act as artillery. The rest of them need to try and run at Alter Ego, and the Glorious Pathway just comes out right there. Oh!
CS tries to go for a flank, gets caught, but thankfully makes his way to safety, so Gebe ends up getting baited in. It's good punish by RSG Singapore.
At first, it looked like Gebe had actually landed a really nice spear of Alpha onto CS, who was trying to run away from the flank. But because it was so clean, he actually ended up too far from his team to back him up. The Netherrealm literally could not reach him in time, whereas RSG was closer. And now, oh!
Okay. Gonna flicker pull onto tree. Alter Ego, once this fight continues to chase. And that's CS! He's gone, another pullback. Gear wants to get away, but gets chased down by Nino. And Alter Ego just shut down 2 of the crucial members of RSG.
A massive play by Nino right there. The Flicker into Phobia skill to knock up on 2 members, including CS, and then specifically spacing out his Infernal Pursuit to wait for CS to use dash abilities before following up. Made sure that he was able to catch out that Irithel and chase RSG Singapore back into their half of the map. Otherwise, they could have actually gotten a tier 1 there. And because of this, Alter Ego now have priority over the Lord Pit. They're going to be the first ones to be able to go on over and scout things out.
Yeah, the Dark Wave. So Gebe is still a level ahead of Yon, which is going to be posing a bit of a problem if it comes down to the 50-50 coin toss. I think RSG, they have an idea, they're poking their heads around, but no realistic way to make a move in. Gear will lead the charge. Yon also fishing for any sort of avenue, but they just can't find any.
I like the positioning from Alter Ego here. They're not pushing too far because they know that they get caught out by RSG here. It's actually really bad. They want to ideally make sure Yon misses that Violet Requiem combo while keeping an eye on CS's position so that the Irritail doesn't get too much free damage out. Seeing both teams rotate a little bit around the Lord Pit. Closer is in the bush, has his eyes on Gebe. Will they commit?
Oh, it seems like they will go on to Yon first to pull the trigger. Could Winter Crown from Yon to stall out the damage. Another round, keeping the backline alive. Alter Ego, force back. CS, uncontested, unchecked. He's just gunning down everyone with the heavy crossbow. Closer, takes the Cyclone Eye and straight for the backline. Takes down 2. And Yon, one round down, traces life. But throughout all of that, Alter Ego still traded even. And with Roundell's passive, he is back up and ready to go. RSG Eshido did take the Lord.
They were able to whittle down Gebe enough and force him to Winter Crown at precisely the timing that he needed to Retribution. So because of that, Yon got it for free. They still ended up trading a little more bodies in total, but it's actually pretty worth it for RSG. I think they're starting to reach the point where they realize they're quite good at taking slower fights because they're able to continuously sustain with the Matilda, continuously poke from afar with Yunsky to get stacks up on this Sicilian. And we're starting to see RSG come online just a little bit here.
And if you're closer, you're telling your teammates that, guys, I'm doing so much damage, just keep me alive. As long as not close to CS. If CS stays alive, I really felt like Alter Ego is going to have a tough time clearing him out. But AE continues to be proactive. Prolific gun done for CS. Yon with the in and out bait and switch. Round DL looking for Pool. Cannot find his spell of Alpha onto Yon. Another round used very early on. It's about to run now. Here it comes. Alter Ego wants to kill. They find Yon. Yunsky isolated. Slam by Nino. And Alter Ego once more makes the first move and wants to end it all. CS, he's trying his best. And no one goes down from the side of AE at the end of that.
Really nice gameplay coming in from Alter Ego here. You can see that it's just a continuous back and forth. Oh, Gebe!
Gonna be using his Winter Crown again. Gebe wants to get out. CS trying to chase him down. One last roll. CS finds the kill, but Highs on top of it just sliced him out with the Rhapsody. And a snipe with the Death Sonata. A double kill into a wipeout converted by Highs.
Alter Ego are playing effectively around the Shadow Stampede from Roundel. Wouldn't typically be your main form of initiation, but is very good at pulling people out of position when they're trying to run away from you. RSG Singapore was getting pulled back one by one right into the Spear of Alpha, and Nino being able to separate some of the flanking members away while getting his own double kill on the Phobius. He has really been popping off this game, creating a lot of space for Alter Ego alongside Dreams, opening up the team fights with that glorious pathway. RSG Singapore, they have a lot of damage, but they're not able to control the team fights well enough because of these ultimates from the bulkier frontline members of Alter Ego.
Oh, what? Got pulled back mid-jump?
Is that I didn't even know that was possible.
Me neither.
Actually pulled out of mid-air. Wow, that feels bad.
Wow, you learn something new every day. I thought that happens to Gatot, but not Guinevere. So now this Lord is completely compromised. No Yon means no Lord contest.
I think Roundel is just showing us how Faramis is meant to be played. This is some of the most aggressive Faramis performance I have seen in a very long time. And honestly, I am loving it. It is doing such a good job. He's supporting his team. He's dishing out damage. He's pulling people out of safety. It is very, very good. Looking at the items, both gold laners are maxed out now. Highs has actually sold his shoes as well. Gone for a Wind of Nature alongside that Sky Piercer. Gebe as well. CS? Ooh, hold on. Yon isn't actually maxed out on items yet. Still missing one on this tank Guinevere. So we can see that there is a notable difference there in the jungler's farm.
I wonder what the last item is going to be. It could be Queen's Wings, I guess. He did have the Winter Crown already. The closer this got is Antique Cuirass. This Lord is going to crash into structure, so top inhibitor guaranteed for Alter Ego. RSG Singapore, what's the plan? We've seen Alter Ego willing to commit battle spells just to run down RSG Singapore, and they're doing a very good job at not just running down the opponent team, but also juggling the damage that this Irritel is outputting. Another gross pathway laid out. CS jumps forward with the heavy crossbow, trying to do the splash damage. Dreams is just eating all of it up. As Closer gets gunned down, heavy crossbow expires, and once more Outer Ego. No one. CS gets dragged back. Wisdom of Nature hops away. Heavy crossbow off cooldown. Locked down by Dreams. Immortality. Iron Switch brings him back to life. It's double kill for CS. And now getting brought in by the Guiding Wind. Spell of Alpha misses. Yon gets a Violent Requiem knockup. RSG Singapore playing the long game. Doing it well. Winter Crown expires as Gebe will try to fight CS. But fights the Spear of Alpha on the tree.
Ooh.
Takes down CS. And comes back to life. Still, he falls, but AE has just eliminated the biggest threat. Yon now wants to go on Roundel, but Dreams is still around. Finds the knockup into a Violent Requiem, purified away, tries to chase Yon. Winter Crown from Yon to stay alive. Re-engages onto Dreams, but this fight pretty much done and dusted. Dreams has the immortality, but they want more. Circling Ego, Dreams stays alive at the end.
Manages to keep his immortality on top of all of that. This Hylos is a pain in the butt, but that was a very impressive defense by RSG Singapore. We did talk about this, right? They do seem to be a little better at extended engagements where Alter Ego isn't able to just surgically pick him off one by one. RSG, they have Yunsky and CS to play around. Both cores now hitting their final items here. Wind of Nature as well, saving CS in a really important timing because Alter Ego committed quite heavily to trying to take out this Irritel so that they can push into the base. They still have a goal lead, but 20 minutes in, only 2k isn't actually that big of a difference.
Yon just wants to get out, almost got pulled back to his death again. And honestly, if Gebe didn't finish off CS with his dying breath just now, this could have been a way different game. To see how RSG deals with this, CS needs to clear out their mid wave first. And of course, not to forget, Yunsky is definitely skilled up at this point. We are more than 20 minutes into the game. Those bad impacts are going to absolutely start shredding health bars.
Alter Ego playing very cautiously. Oh, High's almost one-shot by CS, but able to dash out in time.
That's one heavy crossbow shots. RSG Singapore should feel a bit more confident, but again, swimming against the tides every single second of the game. No inhibitors means that Alter Ego, they're really not in a rush. They really don't need to rush this. Just play the game. RSG Singapore will eventually have to deal with the waves. Looking for Gear first. Gear is going to disengage with the Circling Ego. CS on the side, has no shield, jumps in, looks for Highs. Wisdom Nature keeps Highs alive. That's going to be Lord for Alter Ego. Secured by Gebe. Yon comes back to life with Immortality. Goes immune, but still ends up going down. And everyone else from RSG Singapore on the retreat. CS needs to be kept alive, and Gear will do just that.
This is an incredibly tense game here between Alter Ego and RSG. Alter Ego knows a clean sweep here instantly moves them on one game away to qualifying directly to the challenge finals. RSG not willing to give it to them lightly. The mid waves are actually somewhat synced. Unfortunately, mid lane pushing a little bit faster than the rest, so RSG able to start whittling down the Lord before the rest of the waves can come on in. Alter Ego, can they end this here?
CS, no sprint for another 50 seconds. Another flicker in. Nino wants to find the engage on the Closer. CS getting ran away. And now Alter Ego just needs to focus on the crystal and get rid of CS. And Alter Ego finally closes up shop against RSG Singapore. Is 2-0 for the Indonesian squad.
A very hard-fought victory from Alter Ego. As RSG Singapore backs against the wall, we're doing everything in their power to try and stop them from reaching the crystal. But in the end, they were finally able to find the opening they needed to push on in and take the series in a clean sweep. GG well played, as Alter Ego will move on to the next stage of Group B.
The longest game we had so far today. I gotta say, RSG Singapore definitely showing a lot more mechanical prowess in this game number 2. It's just Alter Ego willing to take the fights to RSG Singapore despite kind of witnessing what CS and Yunsky could do. Nino in particular is a madman going for Thunderbelt War Axe all the way.
You know, this movie is continuing to be quite a nuisance here because he really does become quite tanky later on, and you know, even going for the War Axe just to dish out that extra damage and punish the backline somewhat. This was truly a battle of wits, even from the drafting phase, because RSG were the ones who forced Gabay to go onto that alpha so that they wouldn't be able to go alpha Matilda instead, and then trying to deny pick by going into the Hilda, grabbing the Irritel, the counter. CS actually doing a very good job of dishing out the DPS necessary, but I really gotta give a shout out to Roundel. On this Faramis, he was saving people left and right. The NetherRealm timings was clean. The Shadow Stampede, pulling people left and right into the jaws of Alter Ego. And it looks like he will appropriately be awarded MVP of game number 2.
Absolutely. I mean, this Faramis, really the unsung hero for a lot of these fights, right? The NetherRealm allowing Alter Ego to consistently just run at RSG and run them down despite having to tank through heavy crossbows and bad impacts. It really was Roundel that was giving them that extra layer on top of an already oppressive glorious pathway from Dreams. Of course, special mentions, honorable mentions to Dreams, as well as Nino. And I've been thinking like the whole game, who is gonna start fights from AE? Well, it wasn't Dreams, that's for sure. It was Nino when he had the flicker every single time. Flicker Dark Wave to start a fight.
I actually quite like that Dreams was saving his glorious pathway for later on in the fight instead to maybe further punish RSG, because outside of Matilda, a lot of their heroes, especially this Cecilion, can have a difficult time escaping if they're being jumped on. Roundel, of course, being the